and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today and you're ready to start your day with me, Maha Mukhtoom. And unfortunately, it isn't me today. Shazad will be back with us on Monday morning. We have a wonderful show lined up for you. And today, actually, there is no news because we have quite a few guests that we need to talk to. But before we launch into our subject and the first segment of our show, I have a few things that I would like to share with you. And I know that, you guys are on this journey with me to kind of balance out my road rage because, we've been kind of monitoring that and how it's been going. At the beginning of this year, we were doing much better. There was no aggression, no anger. But slowly, yet surely, it's been creeping back into my life. And it's making me very upset. And I'm really trying very hard not to lose my cool when I'm driving. Because, there's only so much you can do, and you can't, you need to pick your battles. However, I am quite upset because I went to a sector yesterday, and I went to one of the dhabas to have breakfast with my friend. And it was absolutely a wonderful experience. But at one point, everyone started running and putting their stuff away. It was because the CDA was arriving. And, these are people who are, they're not begging, they're not doing anything. They are, I know that you're not supposed to break the laws and you shouldn't be. But to target people who are of socially, a weaker background or, economically they're a bit weaker off, to target them specifically and not go for the bigger fish, I feel there's a real injustice out there. You have big restaurants or organizations and even schools who are not really abiding by the laws or the rules of this society. And, I don't see them running or cowering away when, CDA turns up. I actually haven't seen the CDA turn up in the mornings to monitor the roads. So that is my plea or my request to all the officials out there that please kindly balance out what you guys are doing. If there is one rule, please make sure it applies to everyone, because that is what is justice. And it's really wrong if we target the weaker in our society rather than someone who has a bit more standing. So that is my message for today. And, it really got me, so I really wanted to put that out there. But apart from that, I hope you guys have had a wonderful week so far and you are ready for your Friday. And Jummah Mubarak to everyone out there as well. But now let's launch into our show. As you know, within Pakistan, we have got an incredible amount of talent within the country. The youngsters, I don't want to use the word youth, I feel like it's overused too much, but the youngsters of today are really making their mark on our whole society as well, because they are the ones that are moving the society forward. They're keeping it up to date. But at the same time, they cannot do it by themselves. They are working hand in hand with the previous generation, which are their parents or their uncles or, their counterparts. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of work, but we have been joined by some wonderful guests in the studio at the moment. This young fellow, he is an under 16, under 18 tennis player. He's also a student, and he is making his mark, and he's going to go places as well. So we've been joined by Huzaifa Abdul Rahman, who is our under 18 player. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Besides Huzaifa, we've been joined by his father, Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Faisal, retired. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam, thanks.
Thank you for joining. And it's really important that we've got the father and the son here because it's a joint effort at what Huzaifa has been achieving. So if I relax, we'll get to it. It's a general conversation. So I'm going to ask you, how did you get into tennis?
When I was 4 years old, my father used to take me to the tennis courts, and day by day I got
Interested
in tennis and started loving the game.
Okay, excellent. So I'll ask Colonel Faisal, why did you decide to take him to play tennis at 4 years of age?
Actually, because I was also a tennis player.
Okay, excellent.
I picked up late in my career. So in army, whenever you get time, you go to a club. So that was the only entertainment during that small time. So as a young boy, he wanted to go with me, so I used to take him along. So with the passage of time, he also started playing. And that's how he developed that interest himself, and then it kept on increasing, and then I saw that, okay, let's put him in this and let's make a concentrated effort.
Excellent. So you enjoyed it, and so you weren't forced or anything into it. Okay,
No.
excellent. Now, when you started playing tennis, how did you feel when you played tennis?
I really enjoyed the game. I love to compete and be a good player.
Okay. And regarding schools, how did you balance schoolwork and tennis work?
As you know, tennis is a global game. So thousands of kids try to become good player, become professional players. So up till last year, I could manage my tennis and study both of them at the same time. But now I want to become a good player, a professional player. I need training for that.
Okay.
So now me and my family decided that I should only concentrate on tennis for now.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so that's very rare that you have, at this age, you've now decided that he should focus on tennis more.
Yeah, it was actually a very difficult decision.
Yes.
Because in a normal channel, you would actually like he should progress in studies. But this period, this time frame of say around 15 years or so, this is very critical in studies as well, because a boy is going for his O levels or matriculation, and then it is very critical for sports as well, because it is a make or break.
Right.
Now the sports is like an express train. It's very fast. The time goes very fast. So we thought, and I discussed it with my friend, some great coaches, and then I made this decision that let's give him that wonderful opportunity and full opportunity.
Excellent.
Let's support him to the full. If he is destined to become a player, we'll put in our effort. There should be no legacy on our part.
Yeah.
And if he succeeds, if he becomes a professional player, everything will be covered.
Okay.
But at the same time, it doesn't mean that he's not studying. He takes his books with him during his tours and everything.
Okay.
Because the demands of international tennis, they are huge.
Absolutely.
But it's not just that you go 2 months train and then relax.
No, exactly.
It's round the clock training, round the year training and competition. So it's very tough. So expecting from a boy of 14 or 15 years or 16 years to train for 6 or 7 hours a day, and then you are asking him to now study as well, it's pretty hard on him.
Okay.
So that's why we took this huge decision, I would say.
It is actually, I think it's quite a big decision, because normally what we've seen is that everything goes hand in hand, because you always need a fallback plan just in case. So now, Huzaifa, tell us a little bit about what you have achieved to this date, so then we can understand why your parents decided that, it's actually safe for you to continue down this path of sports. So what have you achieved so far?
I was Pakistan under 10 number 1. I was Pakistan under 14 number 1.
Excellent.
I have won 6 Asian titles in under 14, which helped me to clinch the number 2 spot in the Asian tennis rankings.
Amazing. And we've got your photos as well, which you're sharing with everyone. Fantastic. And tell us more.
I have represented Pakistan in many tennis competitions like World Junior Tennis 2015 in Malaysia. Recently, I have played in the Junior Davis Cup
Amazing.
2018 in Sri Lanka and Kuching, Malaysia.
Amazing. Congratulations. That's a wonderful set of achievements already. Fantastic. I think you're going to be our first single player who's going to really make a mark. You could be the Federer of Pakistan. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So now, when you see all these achievements and you see the state of sports, especially tennis within Pakistan, I mean, it's doing relatively better than a lot of the other sports. It kind of gets sidelined after cricket and all, to a certain degree. Do you feel like he has a future within the sports within this country? Do you think there's enough unity and encouragement within the sport, or do you think that it's something that he needs to branch out?
As you have already said, that cricket is the main sport.
Yes.
So we all focus on cricket. Tennis is a global sport. And Pakistan is unfortunately quite far behind in tennis.
Yes.
Up till now, we have just produced Samul Haq, who is a world player.
In doubles.
In doubles,
Yeah.
but he actually has remained top 100 in singles as well, and then top 5 in doubles. So it itself is a great mark that he played 2 finals of the Grand Slams. And if you see the road path of Assam, he left Pakistan at the age of 14 or 15, and he trained abroad, because unfortunately we don't have those training facilities and training environment here.
Right.
So it is a compulsion for us that if he has to reach that mark at that top level, he needs to train amongst the best in the world. He needs that training environment. He needs those academies, those physical trainers and those top coaches. And we are actually on the same path. That education thing that we discussed earlier, this is linked with that thing now.
Right.
Because he's already spending 6, 7 months, 8 months outside Pakistan.
Right.
We were in China last year for a couple of months in 2 stints.
Right.
So now maybe tomorrow we are going to Istanbul for another 3 months.
Okay, amazing.
So those long patches of training amongst the top players and with top coaches,
Yep.
that's how we are going to get to the level which we envisage that we are going to reach there.
Okay, so now you mentioned that, despite the fact that over the decades there has been a little bit of effort put in individually by players to try and bring up the sport, what you need is a united effort.
Yeah,
but that's why there's a reason why you guys are having to go abroad, because there's no unity within the sport, and from what I've seen anyway. When it comes to the Davis Cup, you guys come together, we play, but apart from that, I don't see any, double tennis players from Pakistan taking on the world. I don't see anyone going together and taking on the world. So how do you feel having to take Huzaifa out of Pakistan to do all of his training? Because that's expensive as well.
Yeah, that's the point which I was going to highlight.
Yes.
Tennis is an expensive sport.
Absolutely.
So in this journey, as of now, I'm extremely, I need to mention, and I'm extremely grateful to General Ashfaq from Madi.
Okay.
Madi Gas is supporting Huzaifa
Wonderful.
for now for a good 1 year. And even before that, because whenever you can understand, when we go abroad, there are a lot of boarding, lodging, and training expenses. So there's an average of $4,000 per month, which is required. So as far as Huzaifa is concerned, seeing his achievement and talent, Madi picked him up. They are going to support him, and that's my dream as well, and his dream, and Madi's dream as well. Somebody should come up and he should take Pakistan tennis to that height and bring laurels from.
Absolutely wonderful. So how do you feel when we talk about the history of tennis, like you mentioned, the top ranking in singles is 125. I just checked it. So how does it feel to know that maybe you could be like #1 in the world, and as a result #1 in Pakistan, and you're bringing a lot of goodness to Pakistan? How does that feel?
It feels very amazing to.
Pressure isn't too much?
No, it is, but you should take the pressure, and I love to compete.
Okay.
And I really want to make Pakistan the best tennis in the world.
Wonderful, that's so sweet. Now, when it comes to your studies, do you feel that, do you feel scared that you won't be as focused on your studies as your tennis, or that tennis way and you're gonna make it?
No, I'm not scared about study. I think, inshallah, I'm gonna be a professional tennis player.
Well, you already are an under-18 player in our eyes as well, and you've won so many different achievements. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, tell us, who is your favorite player?
Obviously, Roger Federer.
Yeah, Federer, not Nadal?
No.
Okay, why not?
It's just like not very good to watch.
Sorry?
Not very good to watch. Like it's
Okay.
his style is very powerful and something like that.
Okay, and and your future goals is to, you've already said you're going to bring the trophies back to Pakistan, you want to be #1, but apart from that, what else do you want to do for Pakistan with tennis as well? Is there anything else?
I want to play Davis Cup for Pakistan and take them to the World Group.
Okay, excellent. And now, going forward, sir, despite the fact that it's expensive, despite the fact that within Pakistan there isn't that much support of there isn't that much emphasis, not support, emphasis on tennis. We've got Huzaifa as an example. What would you like to share with all the other parents out there? Because the fact that you have chosen the sport over the studies, which is very not normal within this culture or society. I mean, even I'm feeling a bit like, wow, this is amazing.
Yes.
So tell us.
Actually, it is, the one thing is, as you were mentioning, is sort of a bit of depressing.
Okay, why?
But bit of depressing that, we don't have the facilities and something like that. But at the same time, it is challenging as well.
Yeah.
You see, the same thing is in cricket. We have been deprived of international crickets for so long, but still we keep getting the talent, we keep getting the players. For me, it is a challenge as well, and I love to take this challenge. That why not from Pakistan? What all is lacking?
Okay, that's true.
Let's put in that hard work. I put in the hard work. I had no money, right? We just put in the hard work. People saw him in the ground, and they came to me that your boy is playing amazing when he was something like 11. So if we can support you. So there was a friend of mine, Hassan Saeed from Lahore. He came. He has been a wonderful support to me throughout.
Okay.
My younger brother and one of my seniors when I was living in Mangla.
Okay.
So Brigadier Khalid, he supported me so much that yes, this boy has got a brilliant talent, and you must support him. I mean, I was given time to go, and because I mean, I was having an appointment in the office, so he used to spare me to go, take him along to play different tournaments.
Okay.
I used to ask leave, and army spared me to take him along to Bangkok and Vietnam and many other places. I used to accompany him.
Okay.
So actually, basically, I started. I coached him and I mentored him. But there are a lot of other hands who supported me.
Yeah.
So this is to me, this is a challenge as well. Why not we? Why not from Pakistan? Yes, we lack those facilities. But I must tell you this thing, taking this forum, that the current federation, they have done a few wonderful steps.
Okay.
You know for yourself that Davis Cup came back to Pakistan.
Yeah.
Now, for one ITF tournament, if you go abroad,
Yeah.
you understand it takes around 2 to 3 lakh rupees.
Okay.
So they brought ITF tournaments in Pakistan.
Oh, wonderful.
You see, he played the semi-final of an ITF tournament here.
Wonderful.
And otherwise, we have to spend around the average expenditure is 2 to 3 lakh rupees for just one tournament.
Oh gosh, that's
Right?
quite a lot. Yeah.
So I at least, I appreciate the efforts put in by this federation.
Wonderful.
Now, the thing is that these things were in disarray.
Okay.
Now, putting them together, it is going to take time.
Absolutely.
They're in the right direction. And as I told you, for me, it is a challenge.
Absolutely. And that's wonderful that, you are, there are people at the federation is taking the right steps to start going in the right direction and supporting, the young talent. Otherwise, we're never going to make a mark on the scene internationally. But I just, one final question before we wrap up, because this is what I've always, I've met some sportsmen and, you see how they behave and when they win and when they lose and how it has an effect on their own, mood and
Yes.
then the mood around everyone else. So I'm sorry to bring this up, but when you win, it's obviously a great feeling, pride, your efforts paid off. But when you lose, how do you handle when you haven't played your best game? Does it just put you in a bad mood, or do you know how to cope with it and kind of look forward to the next? Because it is in that moment, if you don't perform in that game, that is your job. So how do you feel?
I'm obviously very angry
Okay.
and very sad, but then I try to put it away and start a new day.
Okay, excellent. So do you guys feel those emotions when things don't maybe go according to plan?
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, these emotions are very natural. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the top players, Nadal, Federer. Even Federer, he was crying in the Australian Open after winning the Australian Open.
Absolutely.
So these are emotions, and these are very genuine emotions.
Absolutely.
So whenever he wins, we are happy. But obviously, we discuss the ills, we discuss the faults, flaws in the game. But when he loses, obviously the mood is sad.
Okay.
Maybe it takes a couple of days or a
Okay.
day, and it stays like that. And then obviously we know we understand this thing. Every day is not going to win.
Okay.
Yes, he wants to win every day, but it is not going to happen.
Okay.
So we need to have a very mind and an analytical mind.
Yes.
Because the loss, it teaches you a lot.
Absolutely. And on that note, thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure, and best of luck with all your endeavors, and we will support you in any way that we can on our show as well. Thank you so
very
much
much.
for being here.
Thank you very much.
And, it's wonderful to have such a, well-rounded individual, actually, who understands the concept of winning and losing and actually has a passion for this game. So best of luck for Zaifa, who's going to be our future world #1 tennis player. So with that, we're going to go for a short break. And when you come back, we're going to stay on the line of being healthy, but it's going to be more information about how can we eat healthier and what can we do to our routines to make our lives the best. So with that, let's go take a break. And when you come back, we'll continue our conversation.
us many beautiful scenic spots that offer virgin beauty untouched by the outward influence.
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we were in discussion with one of our future lead tennis players, Huzaifa Abdur Rahman, who has been doing very well, and he is at an international level, and he's so young already, and he's already making waves. So do watch out for that name, because he's really going to take the sport forward and maybe bring home a first the country. So that would be fantastic. But now moving on, in order to be good at anything actually in life, you need to have a good nutrition, you need to have food, you need to be healthy. And within Pakistan, we have delicious food. It's so great. I even went yesterday, I had aloo paratha for breakfast. So the food is great. However, when you look at the nutritional value, it may not be the best, because it's either swimming in oil or it's been really, I can't think of the English word for like when you punify food. I've got my own like Urdu English terms of it, so I didn't want to say it on TV. But when you overcook something as well, because with most of our dishes, they do require time, they do require high heat. So within Pakistan, we have wonderful vegetables, wonderful fruits. So we're going to be discussing, especially during summer, what kind of nutrition should we be having, what kind of diet should we be keeping, and also if we have certain issues like thyroid problems. We also hear a lot with your thyroid, what's going on with it. So all link into our health and how does it make us healthy or unhealthy. And also this will all be in line with healthy weight gain and healthy weight loss. So to discuss this, we've been joined by Dr. Nosheen Abbas, who is a consultant nutritionist, and she's working at Islamabad Medical Hospital. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Besides Dr. Nosheen Abbas, we've been joined by Javeria Mahmood. She's teaching at LUMS, and she's also a nutritionist and a dietitian. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting.
Okay, so let's get the conversation started. I just used the wrong term, and I can't think of the English one. In Pakistan, we like to punify.
Yes.
Is that
over
the
deep
word?
fried.
Deep fried.
Yes.
Or just overcook.
Yes.
How do we start making our delicious foods that's slightly bit healthier? Because we're not going to change the recipe because it's too good. So how do we make our day-to-day foods healthier? Let's start from that.
Well, I think we need to change our approach regarding the oils we use.
Okay.
We've been using processed oils, and currently there are so many oils in the market that we hardly get any good option. We pick and choose according to the prices. But I suggest go for something which is like have an olive oil or a canola oil kind of thing. Because it says I'm not against any of the brands, but I suggest go for processed ghees, and go for something which is more healthy and which can lead to less of the problems. Oil in any form, in excessive form, is dangerous for your health.
Okay, now compare oil to ghee, because in the past, there was that change to olive oil, and then now we're suddenly seeing that actually desi ghee is much better for you. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, desi ghee is good for us generally, but the one which has been derived purely from the cow's milk, not from the processed one.
Okay.
Oils, yes. Again, we still have in practice olive oil, but we should avoid processed desi ghee.
Okay. Okay. Now, Javeria, when we were just talking about the same question to you, the foods that we're eating, how can we make them that little bit healthier? We've already said about the oils, less processed oils. Canola is better, etc. What would you recommend for our viewers?
First of all, there is some tips for all our viewers that are seeing us. Number one, eat smaller meals. Don't compromise and don't compensate on quality and quantity.
Okay.
Quality should be good. Quantity should be low. It matters. But thing is this: we are living in this country that everyone is taking our carbohydrates in their diet, like in the rice and potatoes. This is not our diet. We should take functional foods that good for our health. For prevention and betterment of our health is a disease-resistant
So,
type
no, wait,
2.
so you
and
mentioned
can
this one
suggest-
thing. We should take. What did you say? What kind of foods?
Functional foods.
What do you mean by functional foods?
Functional foods, basically those foods who can prevent diseases, who can promote immune system in your body.
For example?
Those are anti-inflammatory and you can see anti-carcinogenic foods.
For example?
For example, as you can say, here in Pakistan nowadays our cancer ratios are too much increasing.
Yeah.
When we see in the per capita growth income and rates and different socio-economic sectors. In the KPK and in the Punjab, the most high ratios of cancers are seen, and it's due to the food adulteration. Whenever we talk about the adulteration, it's in the milk. First of all, urea and formalin in the milk, and any other government departments and officials and nutritionists and we like people do seminars, lectures, awareness sessions for the betterment of the community.
Okay, but so you're talking about functional foods which haven't been adulterated. So Dr. Nosheen, how do, as a mother, as a parent, as someone who's going to do the the weekly food shopping, how are we supposed to tell if the food is up to quality? Because when you're paying the prices, you should, quality control it's the responsibility of the shopper, not the individual.
Absolutely. If you talk about food adultery, the basic thing is going wrong in our diet. So we are going wrong in the consumption of the processed food has been increased, right? Anything which is like easily and readily available, we prefer having that. That's that.
Oh gosh, I'm so guilty of that these days as well. Okay.
So we need to bring change from the house, from the root level. That's from our houses. The mothers needs to practice something. Try not to give them processed food. If I take it back to the level of weaning, when we start weaning, we prefer something which is you just add water to it and you just give it to the baby.
It is so simple.
So it starts from there, and then it continues, and then of course the kids are being attracted towards the processed food and everything. But you need to tell them that what is right and what is wrong. I know the kids will not take it that easily or accept it, but eventually the difference will come.
Okay. But that's what I know. But my question was, that's one that you're absolutely right. That's another question that you've answered. But how do we teach the mothers or the fathers or the people that are doing the grocery shopping that this is not the right quality? Like, for example, if the milk has been kind of, I can't use the different names, but you have all the different milk selection out there. Half of them, when you read it, none of them have nutritional value. So what are you supposed to do? Because you're not doing the powdered add water stuff. You're trying to buy, unless you go and buy the cow yourself and start milking it, you can't get sure quality.
But still there are better options. I would suggest, because of course you just can't, just pick one and be 100% sure.
But you can actually tell us what are the better ones, because we have viewers, we want them to have that
nowadays, I will prefer, because as have you seen the way our bones have been exposed to osteoporosis at a very young age.
It's very high within Pakistan as well, isn't it? Because we don't go out in the sun and we're not having our calcium.
Yes. So I would suggest go for the milk which has a high calcium content.
Okay.
Go for skim milk.
Okay.
Because that has a more calcium content, will help you maintain healthy lifestyle. Because generally, as you have mentioned, we hardly go in the sun. We don't have vitamin D levels. We have low calcium levels. So skim milk is better. Full milk is good. But again, there are some brands which we definitely can't take the names. But still,
you can read the guide.
Yes,
and you can.
yes,
I'm sorry that we can't give you the name.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is how you can, make a difference.
So it just means that little extra effort when we go into the shops.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's we all like to read, and we've been promoting reading on the show, so we should do that when we go shopping. So now let's move on. I'll start with Javeria, and the same question to you, Dr. Nosheen. Within Pakistan, you said that we had an increase within the cancer rate, ratio as well. There's more people that's coming. This, I think, is a global phenomenon as well. But also within Pakistan, we have another issue, which is diabetes.
Yeah.
But despite the fact that it has an impact on all your organs, if you don't look after, everything starts to kind of break down inside. And I don't think we realize that.
but we're not taking care of ourselves, and we see a lot of young people pass away as a result. So what's happening regarding that? What can we offer people who are maybe suffering from diabetes or pre-diabetic people? Let's start with pre-diabetic.
Basically, first of all, I want to tell everyone and every of my patients that diabetes is not a disease. It's a managerial thing. You can manage with the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, microminerals, macrominerals, and intake of water. Because people here in Pakistan, first of all, their concepts aren't clear and it's totally vague when they say diabetes is a disease. First of all, you should know this thing, know yourself. First of all, assess yourself, calculate your calories, how much calories you need, what's your BMI, what's your BMR. BMR mean to say the metabolic rate, and you should know about your BMI too. So you should know about your body requirements. Either you are in diabetes, hyperlipidemia, cholesterol, and any other dietary related disease.
Okay.
So this is the message for all of the people who are educated and who are from the educational backgrounds to first assess yourself. Then we come up on the diabetes. Diabetes basically in the hypoglycemia, we can see different phases, and especially patients have different phases and having sweating and small urination problems, and there are also risk factors of the hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia. But whenever we come out the foods and functional foods for the diabetes, or you can say the foods that can work as a miracle for diabetes, then we also start with the high glycemic foods and low glycemic foods.
Which are, for example?
For example, like to say that whenever we talk about the high glycemic foods, it's like all the plain flour, like to say that all processed foods, bakery items included in that. Carbonated beverages are not you can say, and most important thing, I want to tell everyone, artificial sweeteners can cause like a slow poison for your kidneys, especially for diabetic ones. And if you are if you are in the smoking phase or taking any alcohol thing along with your insulin and your medical side, and then taking your dietitianary practices too, then the results isn't good.
Okay, so I want to pause you there because that's a lot of information you've given us there.
Yeah.
So now, you're diabetic. I mean, no, not you. One is, and I thought you could have artificial sweeteners. I thought that was the replacement of the sugar. I'm so wrong with this. I realize, what's happening? What do we do? So the same question to you. If you're pre-diabetic, how are you supposed to find out? And then if you're diabetic, how should we manage it?
For pre-diabetic, the main things which play a role as the weight gain, you have to be really careful about. You must have seen in a juvenile diabetes. We have a family history, right? But in in adult diabetes, there's no juvenile family history. So
basically, it could happen to anyone with mismanagement of diet.
Yes, exactly. Mismanagement of diet.
So I think if there was any myth regarding that, we've just busted it.
Exactly. The consumption of food plays a very important role. If you've been consuming food which is not like white, what would you, high in dairy products, and we've been taking high sugar intake, and they can lead to these problems, right? Then in the diabetes,
I'm really not managing my sugar intake.
Term I mind that diabetes and obesity,
they are directly linked. Yes,
because when you are obese, you go in there is a 90% risk chances and factors you are getting in the diabetes.
And over here we do have a weight issue as well within the country as well, because we're not doing enough extra. We have a very sedentary lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So you finish your point.
So, if you have a family history, just to be on a safe side, I would suggest add fiber to your diet. Replace all the whites with the browns. Like white rice should be replaced with the brown rice. The white pasta should be replaced with the brown pasta. Whole wheat atta or whole wheat flour. And again, if you can't, like you can say there's a problem in our society. We can't have tea without sugar. Yeah. If that's the scenario, you can add brown sugar.
Okay.
Brown sugar, and that's what do you call that? Gur wali.
The
good. That's the right thing, but do not go for the artificial sweeteners, because artificial sweeteners, they lead to the short-term memory loss. They lead to, as she's mentioned, they lead to kidney problems. There are a lot of things.
Oh my goodness, guys! Like, I didn't know this about artificial sweeteners, and I know someone I know recently started using it because. I can't remember now, but don't use it, guys. It's not good for you.
No, it's not good. Please.
Okay, and I mean, if you need to have it, then have, like you said, gur or brown sugar.
Yes.
Okay, so now moving on. You know, when we talk about, you mentioned obesity, that leads to our next point. Whenever we have some fluctuation of weight, everyone's like, get your thyroid checked. Oh wait, maybe your thyroid. Why do we say that? Like, sorry, I'm just thinking of my mom every time there's something happens. Why do we say that?
This is because with there are two stages of thyroid. There is hypothyroid and the hyperthyroidism.
So hypo and hyper.
Yes.
Okay.
In hypo, thyroid hormone, the level of thyroid hormones decreases.
Wait, this is in hyper.
Hypo.
In hyper, yeah, okay.
The hyper means hyper, the increased ones means the levels are increased.
Okay.
So there are different, there are different ways of dealing with both of them. You need to be very careful in your diet. You need to be very, when you are suffering from hypothyroidism, try to consume foods which are not goitrogenic. Goitrogenic means the ones which does not, because iodine levels are decreased, right, in the body. So if you consume certain vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, they contribute to the they contribute and they aggravate the situation. So you have to be very careful in your diet.
Okay.
And in hyperthyroidism, the levels are increased. So similarly, so the iodine level increase. So decrease your iodized salt intake.
I thought you're not supposed to have iodized salt.
No, you can have it's everything in a normal and within the media.
But what is the best type of salt to have? It's a natural sea rock salt, right?
Yes, pink salt is the best salt to have.
I mean, if it's available, if it's not as expensive, you know, go towards a more natural salt rather than the iodized stuff, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. The pink salt is readily available in Islamabad now. I've seen people who replace the white salt with the pink salt.
Okay.
And they've seen good results in their houses.
Excellent. And we've actually run out of time. We had so much more to cover. But Javeri, if there's anyone last bit of information that you would like to share with our viewers today, what would it be regarding nutrition and health?
It's like to say that there are some important nutritional tips for all of the people who are listening us or seeing us right now.
Yes.
First of all, add more and more fiber in your diet.
Okay.
Summers are here, and drink 8 to 10 glass of water per day.
Okay.
You can maintain and achieve your health goals with the proper maintenance and proper cure with the diet, health and nutrition. As I always say, there is a 90% chances, and you can reduce the health risks with the name of nutrition. But you use qualitative and quantitative nutrition in a proper way, in a proper amount, and with the proper consistency, then it would be fine.
Okay.
And like go green, go beautiful.
Okay, great. And Dr. Nasheen, just a final bit of advice for our viewers.
I would suggest please have healthy, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, avoid processed foods. They've been like a big hazard for our health. And again, go for green leafy vegetables, drink a lot of water, and water plays a very important role in life.
Great. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
It's an absolute pleasure having you guys on the show, and a wonderful way to wrap up a Friday. So I need to change my whole diet, as I've just been informed. But no, it's all about being, you know, within Pakistan, we're really lucky. We have some wonderful fruits and some wonderful vegetables, and they taste so good. And, you know, I'm doing direct comparison to the salad I have in Pakistan, to the salads I have in UK. There's a vast difference. So we should really kind of be grateful for that and have healthy foods. So with that, if you would like any information on anything we've discussed about either sports, how to balance it with studies and nutrition, how to have a healthy lifestyle, log on to our Facebook page, which is with the name of World This Morning, our Twitter page, World This Morning without the G, our Daily Motion page, World This Morning, our YouTube page, World This Morning, and do subscribe to it because we upload all our shows. And the repeat is at 11:05 p.m. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you bright and early on Monday morning. Thank you so much.